Dear students, in this session we are going to look at the analysis of the poem Night of the Scorpion. As we had seen in the last video, it was composed by the famous Indian English poet Nissim Meskin. The setting of the poem is very simple. An event happens in a rural setting. It was a monsoon night. It was dark outdoor, and it was a rural household. The household consisting father, mother and a small baby. The small child, here is the narrator, observes how a scorpion enters into the house when it could not bear the torrential rainfall outside. It enters into the house and it hides in a sack of rice. When the mother goes near to the sack of rice, it stings her, it bites her, and she cries. When she could not tolerate the pain, she begins to cry, and from here onwards, the event begins to unfold. The news of scorpion bite or stinging reaches to the neighbors. They tell others also. So the village men come one by one, even in that night with full of heavy rainfall. They come, they try to search the scorpion. The mother was lying in a mat and she was crying like anything. She could not control her sobs. She could not control the suffering of her pain. She was crying, but the narrator distances emotionally from her. He simply narrates the event in a detached manner. He reports it as if he is a journal report. The village men come one by one. They look at her and they began to evolve various theories that are affiliated to the religious beliefs. Some says that she is suffering for the worst deed or karma she did in her past life, and this suffering will purify her soul. The others begin to search for the scorpion, and when they begin to search for the scorpion, they look at everywhere and their shadow in the wall looked like another scorpion. Here we can see the sense of humor of the poet. So we have the karma theory and we have the theory of birth and rebirth, and the poet looks at all these things in a detached manner. More people come, and along with more people, their beliefs also do come into the house of the narrator. Some began to start bhajans, some began to chant the name of the god, and they claim that the more and more you chant the name of the god, the lesser and lesser the impact of the venom of the scorpion. So they have religious resources and they always try to tackle the problem from a religious point of view and not from a scientific point of view. The father of the narrator, although he is very rational and skeptic about those traditions and beliefs, he succumbs to the arguments put forward by the villagers because he wanted to save the life of his wife. So he too begins to pray and he too begins to chant the name of the god. And we see that it's a complete rural setting, and how rural folk try to tackle an issue not from the modern or scientific perspective but purely from a religious perspective. So at the end of the poem, we see how the narrator tells what was the response of his mother to this event. After 12 hours, she recovers from the pain, and the moment she recovers from the pain, she utters only one thing: "Thank God the scorpion stung me and it spared my children." She tells, "Thank God I suffered the pain and my children are very safe." This is the ultimate philosophy and which triumphs all the other philosophies of the world. Chiefly because what a mother feels is genuine from the heart. What others feel are not at all genuine from the heart because they are affiliated to one or the other creed or faith, and they subscribe to those theories, those discourses propagated by the creed or faith. Hence, what a mother feels, what are her true feelings, are registered at the ending lines, concluding lines of the poem. "Thank God it stung me and it spared my children." This is the ultimate philosophy of humanity. This is what Nissim Eskil is going to emphasize at the end of the poem. Fortunately, there is some scope or some room for human thought rather than the already existing discourses. So instead of approaching a doctor or instead of trying to medicate the victim, the entire village never thinks that it is the need of the hour, but it begins to philosophize the event, citing the karma theory or the theory of birth and death and rebirth. So all these things are depicted in beautiful lines by Nissim Eskil. An event of scorpion bite ignites various thoughts of diverse faith and creed, and it makes how human beings respond differently to a single event. We have also seen how Nissim Eskil is trying to put the event in a very simple, in a very plain words, what is called as pidgin English. Everything is everything is given in a very detailed manner, but in a simple language. The diction is very simple. There is no rhyme scheme, and you have plenty of examples for juxtaposition, which makes how things are projected from diverse vantage points. In this beautiful poem, Nissim Eskil tries to make it clear how the rural setting of India is still in its ancient times when it comes to the question of modernity. So this is all about the poem Night of the Scorpion, composed by Nissim Eskil. Thank you so much.